Hello everyone, Corey Mitchell here with TradeThatSwing.com, and today I want to talk about one of the features in Forex Tester that you may have not seen before. And if you've followed me for any amount of time, you know that I like Forex Tester. I use it to fine-tune strategies, to come up with strategies, but mainly just to keep myself sharp, especially if I'm gone for a weekend or I haven't traded in a week or so. I like coming into Forex Tester and just trading some days. We can trade them as if they were live. You can see news announcements here along the bottom of the chart. So it's 2023 when I'm recording this, and this actually is 2018. So I've gone back several years and I'm just trading days at a random point in history, and we'll show you those statistics. That's the whole point of this video. But you can trade these as if it was live market conditions. So you're going to see these bars unfold just like you would if you were watching the live market. So it's recorded all the tick data and every transaction. You can then trade it just by hitting your buy and sell button, just like you would in MetaTrader or other software. And so we'll pause this for a moment. And what I want to talk about is the statistics. So new traders especially should be aware of how they are trading and where potential weak points and strong points are in their trading. So you can access statistics. So I'll just close this by going to the Windows tab, and you likely have several windows open already. Along the bottom of your chart you have the open positions, account history, pending orders, journal. Maybe some of these you have or don't have. And you can open all of them by clicking this Windows tab and deciding which ones you want. One thing that's often gets forgotten is this statistics. It's not open by default, and you'll get this pop-up menu, and it shows you a whole bunch of statistics on your trading. Now, the statistics are only going to track what is in a current project. So you can create a new project, and you create the project name, you decide how much you're going to deposit, you select what asset you're going to trade, you select how big the spread is, and then you create that project. And then you can go in here and open existing products or existing projects. And when I first started, I wasn't very specific. I just created one for the Euro USD. After that, I got a little bit more specific and said, okay, I'm going to trade April 2020. I'm going to trade February 2020. And that way I know exactly what each project is. And then if you go into a project, so I have one of these projects open, and it's going to show you the statistics for the days that you traded inside that project, or how many trades you took inside that project. So I have 19 days processed, but this is going to include weekends as well, because some markets are open on weekends, like crypto. So I've actually only traded 12 days out of these 19 that it's processed through, because it's, again, going to include weekends. So I've traded about a little over half of the month, right? There's typically 20 trading days in a month, and I've traded 12, so a little bit more than half. So that's what this statistic is saying. And then it's going to give you total trades, number of profitable trades. This one's a good one to know, your consecutive wins and losses. So profitable trades, consecutive 7, unprofitable trades 2, trades per day. Again, this is going to be a little bit skewed. I was a little bit more active than usual, especially in the simulator. And so yeah, trades per day, trades per month. This is a projection based on your current course of how many trades you're taking. Max profit per trade, max loss per trade. Ideally, you want these your max profit bigger than your max loss, almost like a risk-reward ratio. Then you're going to see your net profits. This is going to be based on how much you started the account with. I started this particular project with 3,500, and up to, it's made 4,000, so the account is up to 7,500, as you can see. And profit per month, basically a projection based on if you completed the month on your current pace, and average profit, average loss. This is your risk reward ratio, and this one's really handy to know. So your average profit divided by your average loss. So 80 divided by about 40 gives us 2, which is 2 to 1. So my average profit is about 2 times as big as my average loss. That's good to know, because while we set up our reward to risk ratio before a trade, so right now I have this set 2 to 1 based on a little bit smaller movement I was seeing on this day. Often I'm using 2.5 to 1 reward to risk, but I will reduce that slightly down to 2 to 1 if there's maybe not a lot of movement. So 5 pip target, and depending on what my stop loss is, we can see some of these moves in here. This one was about 7 pips. More recently, we're seeing, 5 pip drops. That one's about 5 pips. So we don't want to be going too much more than 5 pips. So we want to keep our stop loss, in that case, at 2 to 2.5, which will give us 2 or 2.5 to 1 reward to risk. But that's what we set up before the trade. As you can see, sometimes I end up exiting early for various reasons. The price doesn't move quite as expected, or I'm just using an aggressive trailing stop loss because it's a little bit choppier. So we also want to be tracking what our reward to risk is after the trade. If we set this up at 2 to 1, but we never hold to our target, but we always hold our losses, our risk reward, what we do before the trade almost doesn't matter, because we're messing it up once we're in the trade. This shows us what our average risk reward is based on closed trades. So even though I closed some of these early, you can see I closed this profit early, but I also closed this stop loss early. So my loss ended up being smaller, and so did my target. At the end of the day, after 95 trades, even with closing those trades early, my reward to risk still ends up being about 2 to 1, and that's the area we want to be in. Some of these statistics I'm not familiar with. You can look them up. Return percent is just how much your profit is on the initial starting balance of your account. Max lots used, your position size. This has increased throughout. Again, I started this at a pretty small opening balance, but that's the nice thing about Forex. You can start with $100 if you want. Very customizable position sizing, so you can start with whatever amount of capital you want. As that account increases, I risk 1%. You can see that over here. You can pull up this thing on the orders, Forex speed up, and it's going to give you a buy and sell button similar to what you might have in MetaTrader, and you can set your stop loss target. So position sizes have increased as the account grew, and I continue to risk 1%. So at the start it would be smaller. As it increases, this will go up. And profitable percent, this is basically your win rate. So 69%, maybe a little bit higher than what I would see in live trading. And again, don't really analyze these particular statistics and draw any reference from them. They're just an example of a project that I ran through, but when I'm using Forex Tester, I'm working on something specifically. You can move back bars and move forward bars. So if you make a mistake, you can move back and correct it. So some of these trades, maybe I made a mistake, I'm going to go back and correct it because I want to build that muscle memory into my mind of actually executing that trade correctly. And I might do it 50 times in a row. Just executing that same trade over and over again, so that it becomes part of who I am, basically, so that if I see that pattern again, there's no mistake, I know how to execute it. So this is practice software. Don't really look too much into those actual statistics, because you could, of course, do whatever you want in this software, because you can move back and forward in time. So you can, for those of you who aren't familiar with the software, you can speed up testing. You can move back bars. If you watch this, you can move back bars. You You can also move forward a bar. So that's a nice price bar if we were thinking about taking a trade. Those of you who know the TC pattern, we'd had a little rounded top here. We've had a nice run to the downside. This has come back a little bit strong, but we can measure out this price bar, and you can see we have this little bit descending channel. So if we resume this, and if the price were to drop below this candle low, we would have a potential trade. We're just going to pause it for 1 second because then it allows me to show you something. If we go to Windows, open this up, statistics. So this is, a little bit cumbersome to have up here, 95 trades. If we drag it down here over the other windows, you'll get a statistics tab. So you can go, from your open positions to your statistics. And just note there that you have, if we get a trade here, this is going to update. So it looks like it's going to take out that candle low. You can see my stop loss isn't in a great position. Probably should be more like 3 pips or something just above there. So that sometimes I'll end up with a loss that's a little bit bigger than what I expected. That could be because of slippage, or I had to adjust it slightly. So I don't always do that, but we can see a little bit choppy, so we'll give this a little bit of time to move away. Again, you could speed this up a little bit. I don't recommend, while you are in trades, I don't really like speeding this up, because you need to get used to, when you're live trading, there's no way to speed things up. So you need to get used to, sitting through that bit of uncomfortableness while that trade unfolds, right? This is, anytime the price starts moving up or pausing, that's generally going to create a bit of discomfort in most traders. So, that's getting very close to my target now. So if it starts pulling back, I want to just close it. You can trail the stop loss in. We know the price isn't moving down a ton. That's still at 5 points right there. If it gets to that low and gets rejected off, I'll just close the trade. Give it a second. Okay, so that hit 2 to 1. If we go back to our statistics, you see we're now up to 96 trades. So this is going to update as we trade. So you have a choice. You can leave this down here in your open windows, or you can just close it and check your statistics anytime you like. So how is this useful? Again, I think one of the most important things is win rate and risk reward ratio. So let's say that you're a trader, and most traders generally struggle with, they want to win more often, so that's their main goal. So in that trade, maybe they get on side a little bit, and if you recall, that price hiccuped a little bit. It just paused here for a second, and maybe they panic out and they get out. So they want to really protect that win, and they're not willing to lose. So what that's going to do is, if we continually do that, those types of traders also tend to really want to hope that that win is going to, or if they're in a losing position, that it's going to turn into a win. So they may hold their losses until it hits the stop loss, but they're getting out of these trades early. And probably one of the most common problems I see, and I would say a good 70% of traders that I come across could improve their trading simply by looking at their win rate and, more importantly, their risk reward, because most people are so fixated already on their win rate. They don't like losing. that they've really lost focus on the risk reward. And if you look at your statistics and you see that you are winning 50% of your trades, but your max profit is smaller than your max loss, and your average profit per trade here is similar or less than your average loss, that is your problem right there. You need to find a way to stay in those winning trades. You need to go through great software to do it on. You need to go through, take screenshots of all your days. I have hundreds of thousands of days that are screenshotted where I can go back and see, I took this trade, I got out here, and the price continued to move well beyond that. So this would have been a trade. Maybe I could have made a little bit more. The price continued to move on. But on these other trades, I got out at pretty good points because the price did end up pulling back or potentially stopping me out. So there's that balance of finding where can I extract a little bit more profit and what am I doing really good at. And so that's what this software allows you to do, is that you can really find that balance. And I found my balance at about 2 to 2.5 to 1 reward to risk. I can keep a pretty high win rate, high being above 50%, and good reward to risk, where my reward to risk is generally going to be above 2 to 1. So that's a really good area for me based on the strategies I trade. If you're trading strategies similar to mine, you'll probably want to settle somewhere in that area. If we get too aggressive where we're going for really high reward to risk ratios, then we're going to be going for those really big wins. The price is going to oscillate more in that time. We're probably going to get stopped out more. We're going to have a lower win rate. So for me, this is just kind of ideal. I don't have to hold through a ton of pullbacks. I'm trading a 1 minute chart. I can be in and out within several minutes usually. And it works really good. So that's a lot of these statistics can point you to where you need to do the work. And then it's just a matter of going through your charts and finding where can I extract more profit. If your reward to risk is 1 to 1, and you're only winning 50% of your trades or 40% of your trades, then probably the first thing I would look at is, can you extract more profit out of most of those trades? Again, most being the key word. There are going to be trades that turn against us, but if you go through 100 trades and see that most of those ones that you got out for maybe a small profit on actually ran to your target, that's good information to have, because it tells you stay in those trades and you're going to be able to make more money by staying in those trades on average. And just make that one correction. So start doing that in Forex Tester, just pushing yourself to stay in that trade. Then you'll be able to see if your statistics improve, and you'll have actual verifiable data that, yeah, I was doing this before and I made this amount. Now I'm doing this and I made this amount. You can even trade the same days that you traded before by just making some of these small tweaks, and you'll be able to compare that, yeah, I made 15% doing this and I made 30% or 40% doing this. Obviously a much better result because of these specific changes I made. The statistics allow you to see where to focus and then allow you to compare what you're doing over time. So a really worthwhile thing to do, whether you're a trader that's been trading for a while but you've struggled or hit a wall, look to these. These can help you fine-tune what you need to do to get better. If you're a new trader, this is so important to get those ratios. Once we start trading, we often start thinking about, I just don't want to lose, or I need to make so much to pay my rent or whatever, when really trading is just about trying to optimize and maintain these statistics. And what happens out here, we're just pattern recognition, trading things over and over again, which the software also helps us do. But when it comes to actually making money, it's going to come down to these statistics. So it's worthwhile tracking them, and it's worthwhile noting where you're doing well and where you're not. Focus on the things you're doing well. Praise yourself for those. Maybe try to bring those a little bit more into your trading. Take advantage of those things, and where you see the weak points, as we discussed, then it's time to really dig in and say, yeah, my risk reward is not good. How am I going to fix that? My max loss is way too big. My max drawdown, way too big. What am I going to do to control those losses? So really great tool. Again, you can just tuck it down here so that it's always there for you. And that's how you use the trading statistics in Forex Tester. You can get Forex Tester. You can use the links below. And if you use Trade That Swing 10 as a discount code, it'll also give you 10% off when you purchase the software. I recommend getting the tick data, the super data package, which includes tick data, so that you'll be able to see the price bars unfold like this. The less expensive packages, it's more like you just get one bar at a time with maybe a little bit of movement in them. But this, you basically get to see how every 1 minute bar moved. I bought the unlimited data just because then I don't have to pay a monthly subscription. It's just one time. I get unlimited data forever and no other costs. And I really like that just because I know I'm going to be using the software for a long time. So I don't want to be paying a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription for data. I just paid a little bit extra one time, and you get all the historical data going back 20 years or so, and you'll get future updates on data as well. So I really like the software. Check out that statistics feature. It's in your Windows menu. And until next time, happy trading.